XRP is crashing, guys. Seriously, for me, these patterns are bullish, and we are in an uptrend in which the 20-day moving average is supporting the price on a daily time frame. That's more bullish than ever. Welcome to the Scientific Investor channel. We have a lot of positive news flooding in, which are mostly from the interview with Brad Garlinghouse. Now, when the price is kind of pointing you to the downside in a shorter time frame, we always say this: don't be a short-term trader in this market. In this market, looking at this positive trend, bullish patterns, be an investor. Look at what is happening in longer time frame. We will actually go through them, and we'll point out why it is important to look at the history. Now, this is the first one from XRP Crypto Wolf, and he's actually showing you Russia's central bank proposed a legal token framework for tokenization of assets. The Central Bank of Russia has successfully piloted a platform that allows users to tokenize assets, including equities, currencies, and issue them to investors. Now, when a central bank is actually talking about tokenization or moving into a digital platform using tokens, you need actually everything like the infrastructure to do this. So that's like they are working on that. Now, this is some of the points which I would like to raise in today's video is directly from Brad Garlinghouse and the interview with Julia. Now, these are some of the points which I've actually noted, and I will actually play that for you guys. It won't be that long, but it will be really informational to put it in perspective. So guys, this is the first area which we will actually go through. Hope you guys enjoy.
It is, and I think a lot of what I'm doing and a lot of what I did in Davos is meeting with regulators, meeting with very senior people at banks, and explaining to them how crypto can be used, how specifically XRP can be used to solve a real problem, not to circumvent regulation, not to circumvent any government. And I think once people understand that, they very quickly become disarmed. It's no longer a bad word.
Do they understand when you're talking and you've sort of...
That is key. First thing, I hope you understand that what he did in Davos, he was talking to the regulators, to the world leaders, highlighting what it is actually, then disarming from the perspective of crypto, the bad thing and all. And then
the head of blockchain technology at JP Morgan told me if the Fed came up with a coin, they'd dump JP Morgan coin. So I'm asking you whether you're open to the possibility of...
Sure. I mean, yeah. I think I'm very open. Even if the Fed in the United States is using a coin, you still have a cross-border settlement dynamic where
yes.
If you have central banks around the world using their own digital asset, I don't think it changes the need for a cross-border neutral
something
settlement.
In the middle, like an XRP.
And XRP has been extremely efficient. I mean, look,
okay.
We obviously have a vested interest in that, and we're not bashful about that, but XRP is extremely efficient from a technical point of view in terms of speed, in terms of scalability, in terms of cost, where...
So that is key, guys. After coming from Davos, after talking to those established individuals from regulation perspective, the regulators, the giant players, infrastructure players, technological players, and those who are from the central banks, he still believe that XRP is efficient to bridge between them. So that means, he's not directly informing that guys, don't worry, this is going to happen. Central banks are going to use this. Now, what you have to really understand is she was actually asking if Fed is actually coming out with their own token, they can dump JP Morgan, like the coin from JP Morgan. And one of my viewers was actually asking, they are coming out with the JP Morgan coin and they are going to get more partnerships than Ripple. And I actually replied him, even if you are working on that coin, it's still based on, the dollar. And if you are actually looking to go out, say one country to another, the cross-border one, you still need a bridge. So that is the same thing which is happening here. Brad Garlinghouse is actually highlighting the importance, efficiency of XRP in that particular context. Now, this is another one, it's really interesting.
5 years from now, I don't know exactly how to think about that, but I think within crypto world, I think Ripple will continue to grow and take market share. But that will probably be, we're focused on cross-border payments today.
So they're actually focusing on cross-border payments and looking at next 5 years in a very positive way after coming out from that Davos meeting. And they are kind of announcing, whatever possibilities in this. So guys, anyway, I won't be actually moving out my XRP thing. Anyway, I will be waiting for at least next 5 to 7 years to take out some or at least half of my XRP portfolio. Because I'm from a country where there are no regulatory clarity as of now, but there's a lot of remittance moving into India.
A high priority, but if you don't have regulatory clarity, that's a challenge in those markets. Typically you'd say India would be high on our list. India hasn't yet provided a lot of clarity from a regulatory point of view, and so we have not prioritized.
And that's key. You step back until you have that.
So you can see that once the regulations are in place, they're actually moving in, prioritizing that corridor and activating that corridor. So now it's up to the governments. What should I do? Now that is the reason why I'm highlighting Davos like this, because during that meeting, it was, the world leaders meeting up. They were discussing about what to do about this, what we are going to do and how we are going to do that. And, unless Fed have that coin, they won't actually allow others to do it. They'll kind of push it backwards, at least 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, 1 year, unless they are ready to shoot that out using any bridge, whether, XRP or whatever they consider. They won't let others do it anyway. But yes, at the time we can actually see Russia, China and others are trying to circumvent dollar. So yeah, there is a possibility that they won't delay and they may look it to be activated during 2020. If you guys are getting value out of this video, please do support the channel, hit the subscribe button and obliterate the like content.
Institutional flows represent, last week, just one customer through Ripple is $54 million. That's fabulous for him. On a run rate, that's $2.5 billion flowing through what we call on-demand liquidity.
That is $2.5 billion flowing through ODL, means using XRP. Guys, you should really focus on this. If that's happening, it won't be like other institutions will lag behind. They won't look at it. They won't care about it. They will definitely do that. And at the same time, what we discussed in our previous video, the chart and the technicals are showing you that there is a possibility that the breakout will be something similar to that of 2017. So that if it is gonna happen, then it's gonna be so cool, because if we actually take this out and try to analyze, if we are somewhere here now in the pattern, and if we are gonna reach this area, where will it be? Oh, it's too much, right? 140. If just the pattern repeats. Now you can argue that we are here, so it may be around 150. So yeah, it's still so high. Even $100 is too high. And if I'm talking about this, most of the naysayers will be coming out, are you mad? Look at the supply, it can't happen. When looking at coins moving from 0.12 to 150, they are okay with it, like Neo and other coins. But when they look at XRP with real utility, they don't understand that it's kind of a denial that they are still sticking together with BTC. It's okay, it's considered as a digital gold even by Brad Garlinghouse. He's considering it as a store of value, but he's considering himself as Amazon. Initially they were just Amazon books, now they are Amazon, they deal with everything. So the same, he's looking just the vertical of payments now, but they actually open to others in the future too. Yes, in this one we can actually see that this is a daily chart of XRP and we are actually moving to the upside, right? That is actually cool. But what you have to actually concentrate here is, in this particular rally we can see that the price went up, we got a bit of correction, now we landed on the 20-day moving average. And at the same time, if you look at the percentage of correction happening here, you see, just take a measure from the top to the bottom, you can see 20% of correction. Now where else have you seen the similar correction previously? Now, yes, if you are really arguing that we are somewhere here in this correction, then it's up to you. But as far as I believe, according to pattern, we are somewhere here. Because if you are really looking at this in a perspective like this, so you can actually measure that it's around 18, it's around, if we measure that perfectly, it's around 17%. So we are now around 20%. So this is kind of similar in terms of pattern, but not in terms of the time frame taken and the fluctuations. Because again, as I repeated, some other, it depends on who you ask. Now different analysts actually show you different perspectives. Some just showcase you that we are actually moving like this, and we are somewhere here, and we will be skyrocketing like this. Now yes, of course that can happen, because looking at the pattern, you can see it's really similar to this. But if you're actually taking this entire length and trying to compare it with the previous one, that is this rally here, you will understand that it has some kind of difference. Now yes, we talked about that in the previous video, so we won't be detailing it much, but I would just like to highlight, others are really concentrating on this just by adjusting the scale. Now yeah, I can also do that by adjusting the scale. You can just play around with this, you can increase the length, the fluctuation in percentage, it's up to you. But what you really should be concentrating here is where we are moving. If you look at the RSI, you can see that we are pushing to the upside, and that is really the key. If you really look at this, you can understand that we are going to get a bullish cross on a daily. Now the red one here is 50-day moving average, and the yellow is 200. So that is a textbook golden cross. And yes, I know when we say about golden cross, guys, you will be thinking, no, we got a golden cross here. At the same time, the 20-day moving average was above, and like the price was getting supported there. Still, we came back low. But I would definitely argue that there is a pattern. Investing is a science, right? And if you are looking at different aspects of that science, you will understand that there are patterns emerging. And if you analyze that, you will also understand that this pattern which we talked about previously in this channel is a Wyckoff pattern. So I'll just delete this parabolic upsides, because we actually discussed through that. We are getting that parabolic move, rounded bottoms in shorter and longer time frame. But what we are going to concentrate here is this one. In the Wyckoff pattern, we have discussed this previously, but in this perspective, we are looking why it's not that important here. Because if you take out in phases, say this is phase A of Wyckoff pattern, and this is phase B here, and I'll argue that this is phase C. Now the reason for that is, if you actually dive into it, you can actually directly see that there are phases in Wyckoff pattern in which you can actually directly understand what is happening. Now yes, it's up to the guys who are looking at this, but as you can see, the phase A is like the first bounce, and the trend is changing there. Instead of going downwards, it's kind of consolidating, it's starting to consolidate, and that's what is happening here. And the point I've marked here is just before the spring, it's going below all the previous bottoms. Now yes, we dipped a bit here, but it was kind of fake out and we came back immediately, right? Whereas in this one, you can see we went down. This was once, and we even went down below that, and then slowly, it was not like a bounce directly like this, slowly grinding upside, retesting all those supported lines, and then getting a bounce movement. Now if we are to get that, then yes, definitely it's kind of retesting that area, and we are going to get a bounce soon. Now the reason it's not effective here is when you are in the initial phase, say phase B in this case, you can always expect, even though you go higher, you can expect that the price is going to come down unless you make this bottom, which is named or termed as spring. So here it's different. We already made a spring, and we are going to get a golden cross, and I'm hoping that this textbook pattern is going to really play out well for us, guys. Now if you guys are getting value out of this video, please do support the channel, hit the subscribe button, and obliterate the like content. Now guys, we are going to end this video here, and if you guys have any suggestions or if you want to let me know your perspective regarding the chart and what you expect to get it from here, you know, the fluctuation in percentage or the time frame, do let me know in the comment section below. I'll meet you guys on the next video. Bye for now.